Hey folks, I'm back. Married to some. If I want to say it on my show, guess what? I can. Here is what I call the storm zone. I say what I want and I do what I wish to. And the nana boo boo. You don't like it? Guess what? It's off. You can. My camera, I don't believe is working today. Are you gonna come on for me? I guess I could just leave it on that screen. But anyway, this series is not and should not be about online drama between me and other content creators. It's supposed to be about me spreading the wealth of knowledge. So let's get to it. Save that drama for someone else's mama because that is going to be the day tomorrow. Day dedicated to all the drama mamas and drama queens celebrated tomorrow. Okay. We find ourselves in Principle 13 take action. Things may come to those who wait, but only the things let by those who hustle. Abraham Lincoln, 16th President of the United States. What we think or what we know, what we believe is, in the end, of little consequence. The only consequence is what we do. John Ruskin, I was an English author, art critic, and social commentator. The world doesn't pay you for what you know, it pays you for what you do. There's an enduring axiom of success that says, the universe rewards action. Yet as simple and as true as this principle is, it's surprising how many people get bogged down in analyzing, planning, and organizing, when what they really need to do is take action. You take action, you trigger all kinds of things that will inevitably carry you to success. Let those around you know that you are serious in your intention. People wake up and start paying attention. People with similar goals become aligned with you. Begin to learn things from your experience that cannot be learned from listening to others or from reading books. And get feedback about how to do it better, more efficiently, and more quickly. Things that once seemed confusing begin to become clear. Things that once appeared difficult begin to be easier. Begin to attract others who will support and encourage you. All manner of good things begin to flow in your direction once you take action. Talk is cheap. Over the years of teaching and coaching people in my company and in my seminars, I have found that one thing that seems to separate winners from losers more than anything else is that winners take action. Simply get up and do what has to be done. They've developed a plan, they start. They get into motion. Even if they don't start perfectly, they learn from their mistakes, make the necessary corrections, and keep taking action, all the time building momentum, until they finally produce the result they set out to produce. Something even better than they conceived of when they started. Successful, you have to do what successful people do. Successful people are highly action oriented. You've created a vision, set goals, broken them down into small steps, visualized and affirmed your success, and chosen to believe in yourself and your dreams. It is now time to take action. Enroll in the course, get the necessary training, make those sales calls, call the travel agent, start writing that book, start saving for the down payment on your home, join the health club, sign up for those piano lessons, or write that proposal. Nothing happens until you take action. If your ship doesn't come in, swim out to meet it. That was Jonathan Winters, Grammy Award winning comedian, actor, writer, and artist. Hopefully, you're not swimming across the Atlantic. Mighty long swim. To demonstrate the power of taking action in my seminars, I hold up a $100 bill and ask, who wants this $100 bill? Invariably, most of the people in the audience will raise their hands. Some will wave their hands vigorously, back and forth. Some will even shout out, I want it, or I'll take it, or give it to me. I just stand there calmly holding out the bill until they get it. Eventually, someone jumps up out of her seat, rushes to the front of the room, and takes the bill from my hand. The person sits down, now $100 richer for her efforts. I ask the audience, what did this person do that no one else in the room did? She got off her butt and she took action. Did what was necessary to get the money. That is exactly what you must do if you want to succeed in life. You must take action, and in most cases, the sooner the better. Then ask, how many of you thought about getting up and just coming and taking the money? Stop yourself. Then ask them to remember what they told themselves that stopped them from getting up. Usual answers are, I didn't want to look like I wanted it or I needed it that badly. I wasn't sure if he would really give it to me. I was too far back in the room. Other people need it more than I do. I didn't want to look greedy. I was afraid I might be doing something wrong and then people would judge me or laugh at me. I was waiting for further instructions. I then point out that whatever things they said to stop themselves are the same things that they say to stop themselves in the rest of their lives. One of the universal truths in life is, how you do anything is how you do everything. If you're cautious here, you're probably cautious everywhere. You hold yourself back for fear of looking foolish here, you probably hold yourself back for fear of looking foolish elsewhere. You have to identify those patterns and break through them. Time to stop holding yourself back and just go for the gold. Ruben Gonzalez goes for the Olympic gold. Ever since third grade, Ruben Gonzalez had wanted to be an Olympic athlete. He respected the Olympians because they were an example of what he believed in. They were willing to commit to a goal, risk adversity in the pursuit of it, and fail and keep trying until they succeed. It was not until he was in college, saw Scott Hamilton compete in the 1984 Sarajevo Games, he actually made the decision to train for the Olympics. Ruben said to himself, that little guy can do it. I can do it too. I'm going to be the next Olympics. Done deal. I just have to find a sport. After doing a little research on Olympic sports, Ruben decided he needed to pick up a sport that would build on his strengths. He knew that he was a good athlete, but not a great athlete. Strength was perseverance. He never quit anything. In fact, he had earned the nickname Bulldog. High school. Figured he had to find a sport so tough, a sport with so many broken bones, that there would be a lot of quitters. That way, maybe he would rise to the top on the attrition rate. He finally settled on the luge. Next, he wrote Sports Illustrated. This is before the internet. Where do you go to learn how to luge? He wrote back, Lake Placid, New York, where they had the Olympics in 1936 and 1980. That's where the track is. He picked up the phone and called Lake Placid. I'm an athlete in Houston and I want to learn how to luge so I can be in the Olympics in 4 years. Will you help me? The guy who answered the phone asked, how old are you? 21 years old. 21? You're way too old. 10 years too late. Start them when they're 10 years old. Forget it. But Ruben couldn't forget it, and he started to tell the man his life story to buy some time until he thought of something. Along the way, he happened to say that he was born in Argentina. All of a sudden, the man on the other end of the phone got excited. Argentina? Why didn't you say so? You'll go for Argentina, we'll help you. Turns out the sport of luge was in danger of being dropped from the Olympics because there weren't enough countries competing on the international level. You'll go for Argentina and somehow we can get you into the top 50 ranked lugers in the world in 4 years, which is what you'll need to make it into the Olympics. It would add one more country to the sport of luge, and that would make it a stronger sport. Make it, you'll be helping the US team. Then he added, before you come all the way to Lake Placid, you have to know 2 things. Number 1, you want to do it at your age and you want to do it in only 4 years, it will be brutal. 9 out of every 10 guys quit. Number 2, expect to break some bones. Thought, great. Works right into my plan. I'm not a quitter. The harder it is, the easier it is for me. A few days later, Ruben Gonzalez was walking down Main Street in Lake Placid looking for the U.S. Olympic Training Center. A day later, he was in the beginner's class with 14 other aspiring Olympians. First day was miserable, and he even thought of quitting. With the help of his friend Craig, he recommitted to his Olympic dream, and though all 14 of the other aspirants eventually quit before the end of the first season, Ruben finished the summer training. 4 grueling years later, Ruben Gonzalez realized his dream, walked into the opening ceremonies of the 1988 Calgary Winter Olympics. He returned again in Albertville in 1992 and Salt Lake City for the 2000 Winter Games. Ruben Gonzalez, because he took immediate and persistent action on his dream, will always be a 3-time Olympian. Many Olympians do. Ruben has gone on to have a successful career as a motivational speaker. Successful people have a bias for action. Most successful people I know have a low tolerance for excessive planning and talking about it. They are antsy to get going. They want to get started. They want the games to begin. A good example of this is my friend Bob Kriegel's son Otis. Otis came home from the summer with his new girlfriend after his freshman year in college. They both began looking for jobs. While Otis just picked up the phone and started calling around to see who might need someone, his girlfriend spent the first week writing and rewriting her resume. By the end of the second day, Otis had landed a job. His girlfriend was still rewriting her resume. Otis just got into action. He figured if someone asked for a resume, he'd deal with it then. Planning has its place, but it must be kept in perspective. Some people spend their whole lives waiting for the perfect time to do something. There's rarely a perfect time to do anything. What is important is to just get started. There's a small comic I made on the other page. Success is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. Morris. I wonder why there was such a bad smell in here. On YouTube because my camera is not working. Get into the game. Get on the playing field. Once you do, you will start to get feedback that will help make the corrections you need to make to be successful. Once you're in action, you will start learning at a much more rapid rate. Ready, fire, aim. Most people are familiar with the phrase ready, aim, fire. Problem is that too many people spend their whole life aiming and never firing. They're always getting ready, getting it perfect. The quickest way to hit a target is to fire. See where the bullet landed, and then adjust your aim accordingly. It was 2 inches above the target, lower your aim a little. Fire again, see where it is now. Keep firing and keep readjusting. Soon you're hitting the bullseye. The same is true for anything. When we started marketing the first Chicken Soup for the Soul book, it occurred to me that it would be a good idea to give away free excerpts from the book to small and local newspapers in exchange for them printing a box at the end of the story, telling people that the story was excerpted from Chicken Soup for the Soul, which was available at their local bookstore or by calling our 800 number. I'd never done this before, so I wasn't sure if there was a correct way to submit a story to a newspaper or magazine. But I just sent off a story from the book entitled, Remember, You're Raising Children, Not Flowers, that I had written about my neighbor and his son, along with a cover letter to the editor of LA Parent Magazine. The letter read, September 13th, 1993. Jack Bierman, LA Parent. Dear Jack, I'd like to submit this article for publication in LA Parent. I've enclosed a brief bio. I'd like you to print the little blurb I included on my book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, with my article. If you'd like a copy of the book, I would be more than happy to send one to you. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Jack Canfield. A few weeks later, I received the following letter back. Dear Jack, I was annoyed by your facts. How dare you tell me to include this little blurb in your book? How could you assume I'd be interested in this little bit of unsolicited word processing? Then I read the article. Needless to say, I'll run your little blurb and then some. I was moved by this exercise, and I'm sure it will touch the hearts of our 200,000 plus readers from here to San Diego. Has it ever appeared anywhere in my demographic? If so, where? I look forward to working with you on raising children, not flowers. Best regards, Jack Bierman, Editor-in-Chief. I had not known how to submit a proper query letter to an editor. There was an accepted format that I was unaware of, but I took action anyway. Subsequent phone call, Jack Bierman generously taught me the correct way to submit an article to a magazine. He gave me feedback on how to do it better next time. Now I was in the game and I was learning from my experience. Ready, fire, aim. Within a month, I had submitted the same article to over 50 local and regional parenting magazines all across the United States. 35 of them published it, introducing chicken food that sold to over 6 million parents. Do it now. My mentor, W. Clement Stone, used to hand out lapel pins that said, "Do it now." When you have an inspired impulse to take action, do it now. Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, said, "There are 3 keys to success: being at the right place at the right time, number 1, number 2, knowing you're there, and 3, taking action." On March 24th, 1975, Chuck Wepner, a relatively unknown 30-1 underdog, did what no one thought he could do. He went 15 rounds with the world heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali. Ninth round, he reached Ali's chin with the right hand, knocking the champion to the ground, shocking both Ali and the fans watching the fight. Wepner was only seconds away from being the world's heavyweight champion. However, Ali recovered and went on to win the 15-round bout and retain his title. Over 1,000 miles away, a struggling actor named Sylvester Stallone watched the fight on a newly purchased television set. Though Stallone had contemplated the idea of writing a screenplay about a down-and-out fighter getting a title shot before he saw the Ali-Wepner fight, he didn't think it was plausible. But after seeing Wepner, who most people didn't know, fighting the most well-known fighter of all time, all he thought was, "Get me a pencil." He began to write that night, and 3 days later he had completed the script for Rocky. He went on to win 3 Oscars, including one for Best Picture, thus launching Stallone's multi-million-dollar movie career. Imagination means nothing without doing. Charlie Chaplin, actor, comedian, filmmaker. Give me a break. Stories told of a man who goes to church and prays, "God, I need a break. I need to win the state lottery. I'm counting on you, God." Having not won the lottery, the man returns to church a week later and once again prays, "God, about that state lottery. I've been kind to my wife. I've given up drinking. I've been really good. Give me a break. Let me win the lottery." A week later, still no richer, turns to pray once again. "God, I don't seem to be getting enough to you on this state lottery thing. Been using positive self-talk, saying affirmations, and visualizing the money. Give me a break, God. Let me win the lottery." Suddenly, the heavens open up, light and heavenly music flood into the church, and a deep voice says, "My son, give me a break. Buy a lottery ticket. I'll be the day." Fail forward. No man ever became great or good except through many great mistakes. As William E. Gladstone, former Prime Minister of Great Britain. Many people fail to take action because they're afraid to fail. Successful people, on the other hand, realize that failure is an important part of the learning process. They know that failure is just a way that we learn by trial and error. Not only do we need to stop being so afraid of failure, but we also need to be willing to fail, even eager to fail. I call this kind of instructive failure failing forward. Simply get started, make mistakes, listen to the feedback, correct, keep moving forward toward the goal. Every experience will yield more useful information that you can apply the next time. The principle is perhaps demonstrated most compellingly in the area of startup businesses. For instance, venture capitalists know that most businesses fail. But in the venture capitalist industry, a new statistic is emerging. If the founding entrepreneur is 55 years or older, the business has a 73% better chance of survival. These older entrepreneurs have already learned from their mistakes. They're simply a better risk because through a lifetime of learning from their failures, they've developed a knowledge base, a skill set, and a self-confidence that better enables them to move through the obstacles to success. Never learn less, only learn more. The reason I know so much is because I have made so many mistakes. That was Buckminster Fuller, mathematician and philosopher who never graduated from college, but received 46 honorary doctorates. One of my favorite stories is about a famous research scientist who had made several very important medical breakthroughs. He was being interviewed by a newspaper reporter who asked him why he thought he was able to achieve so much more than the average person. In other words, what set him apart, so far apart from others? He responded that it all came from a lesson his mother had taught him when he was 2 years old. He'd been trying to take a bottle of milk out of the refrigerator when he lost his grip and spilled the entire contents on the kitchen floor. His mother, instead of scolding him, said, "What a wonderful mess you've made. Rarely seen such a huge puddle of milk. But the damage is already done." I'd like to get down and play in the milk before we clean it up. Indeed, he did. After a few minutes, his mother continued, "No, we never make a mess like this. Whenever you make a mess like this, eventually you have to clean it. Gotta clean it up." So, how would you like to do that? Use a towel, sponge, or mop? You prefer? After they were finished cleaning up the milk, she said, "What we have here is a failed experiment in how to carry a big bottle of milk with two tiny hands. Let's go out in the backyard, fill the bottle with water, and see if you can discover a way to carry it without dropping it." And they did. What a wonderful lesson. Scientists then remarked that it was at that moment that he knew he didn't have to be afraid to make mistakes. Instead, he learned that mistakes are just opportunities for learning something new, which, after all, is what scientific experiments are all about. That bottle of spilled milk led to a lifetime of learning experiences that were the building blocks of a lifetime of world renowned successes and medical breakthroughs. Frank and Ernest, employment. I don't have any formal education, so I brought you a list of the mistakes I learned from. Okay, in closing, I would say if only Jack. If only it really worked out. If only we could somehow just pay in mistakes and get what we were after. But that's not always how life goes, right? Sometimes you fail over and over and over again. 100 failures, never see success. And sometimes them's just the breaks. I would somewhat agree that failure is inseparable component of success. And I think overall he's not far off the mark when he says take action. Because I think we're far better off looking forward and in retrospect if you just take action. Like, I think very few people regret doing things. Usually it's the opposite. They regret not doing more. Well, I would say just do it. People laugh at you or whatever. Please remember to support the show. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Donations been summer show. Thank you for following on TikTok. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Keep tight. Have a good night. And as always, thank you for watching.